I want to begin by just saying we're doing extremely well in Iran. The difference between them and us is they had a Navy 2 weeks ago. They have no Navy anymore. It's all at the bottom of the sea. 58 ships knocked down in 2 days. And we have the greatest Navy anywhere in the world. It's not even close. But we are doing really well. We're not going to let them have nuclear weapons, because if they had them, they'd use them, and we're not going to let that happen. Should have been done a long time ago by other presidents. So it's an honor to be here. This is fun. And these are great athletes standing behind me, great coaches, general managers, great people, and a great superintendent. Hello, superintendent. We only put our finest as these superintendents for these great schools because we don't want to have somebody that they don't look up to. We take our best, and they're really amazing. For the second year in a row, it's my great honor to officially present the Commander-in-Chief's Trophy to the one and only Navy Midshipmen football team with 11 wins and 2 losses, playing the best teams in football. I used to always think of the military services, they played like a little step below. It's not true. They played the big teams and they beat them. These players achieved one of the most impressive seasons in Navy football history and any football history, frankly. And I just want to congratulate the midshipmen. I met them backstage and they're great. Thank you. Congratulations. You know, when I mentioned the Navy that we just destroyed, I said, "Are they good ships?" "Yeah, they're great ships." Then I said, "Why didn't we save them? We could have used them ourselves." They said the difference was they didn't know how to use them, right, General? They didn't know how to use them. They had no idea. But I want to recognize Navy Athletic Director Michael Kelly, who has just done an incredible job. Thank you very much. He looks like a Kelly. He's definitely a Kelly, along with head coach Brian Newberry, fantastic coach, Brian. He's off to the second best start for any football coach in school history. What's second? Who's first? It's pretty good. That must have been a Roger Staubach year, maybe, or something. Because I tell you what, I got to watch Roger Staubach, and he was something. He was like, I had to say, I've said it, and some people were insulted by it, but it was like a man playing with children. He would single-handedly win those games. It was incredible. Thanks as well to your superintendent, Lieutenant General Michael Borg-Schulte, who is an accomplished Navy linebacker, a very good one, back in the day. We're also pleased to be joined by Secretary of War Pete Hegseth. Now, I don't know if Pete's here because I actually told him he had an option, be in the sit room, you know, the famous situation, or be up here. And if it's okay, I told him, but I think he has 2 very beautiful sons up here, to the best, Boone and Jackson. Are you 2 guys? Well, I told your father, just be in the situation room. We're okay with that, right? I think so, right, Coach? Coach, I think you're okay. So Boone and Jackson, someday you'll be on this team maybe, right? Would you be a Navy, Army, Air Force? Which one? Take Navy. Just say Navy, okay? I don't want to get them in trouble. And your father's doing a fantastic job. And also the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, Dan Caine. So Dan is unbelievable, and I picked him for a reason because I was told it would take 5 years to beat ISIS by our television generals. You know, there's a big difference between generals, just like there is between coaches and everything else. They said, "Sir, 5 years," and I went to Iraq because I didn't understand why 5 years, and I met this general, and his name was Dan Caine. I said, "What's your name?" He said, "Raisin, sir." I said, "Really, Raisin? What is that?" "Raisin." "Oh, it's just my nickname, sir." "What's your last name?" "Caine." I said, "Your name's Raisin Caine? I love you. You're the guy I'm looking for." And it turned out to be right. So they told me it was going to take 4 to 5 years to knock out ISIS. And now I'm in Iraq. I come down, I meet him, some other generals. He was the boss. And I said, "How long would it take for you to knock out ISIS?" He said, 4 weeks, sir. I said, 4 weeks? They tell me 4 years, maybe 5. He said, "Well, whatever they want, sir. They're the boss. I'm just here. But you can do it in 4 weeks, sir." and you have time left over. I said, you got to be kidding. And he explained, and we went through a whole big thing. Well, nobody in this room would be bored by it. Actually, you'd like to hear every word. I tell you every word of it. But bottom line, I said, let me go back. But as I'm leaving, they actually, it was very interesting. I'm walking down the stairs, long fight. I had to turn off the lights after spending trillions of dollars. You had to turn the lights off in the plane because you didn't want to be spotted by the enemy. This was something. So we land, and he said, sir, would you like to rest for a while before we have a meeting? I said, I don't have to rest. My name's not Biden. I don't want to, I'm not resting. And we had great meetings. And then I got back on the plane. I said to him, so General, you say 4 weeks. We mean that, right? 4 weeks, sir, and you'll have time left over. He said, I'll call you on Monday when I get back. And I called him. I said, you still feel that way, General? He said, yes, sir. And I let him do it. He did it in less than 4 weeks. He defeated ISIS. It was amazing. What a difference. You know, I always say, what a difference the president makes. The border, they said, it can't be done without Congress. It will take years. We did it in about 3 weeks. We have a border that's now 9 months in a row. Nobody's come into our country illegally. I'm not even sure if that could be right. But the Democrats keep the stats. So they say, I mean, they have 0 people came in through our border. You see it, right? And I said, the president makes a big difference. Well, the generals make a big difference too. But I told him, I said, Dan, if you don't mind, stay in the Situation Room and you watch all those attacks that we're hitting those guys with, and they don't know what's happening. Their Navy's gone, their Air Force is gone, their anti-aircraft is all gone, it's all gone, their radar is all gone, their leaders are all gone, the next set of leaders are all gone, and the next set of leaders are mostly gone. And now nobody wants to be a leader over there anymore. We're having a hard time. We want to talk to them, and there's nobody to talk to. We have nobody to talk to. And you know what? We like it that way. And we have many other distinguished members of the United States military, but I want to tell you, Hegseth is doing a great job, and Dan Caine is doing a great job, as good as anybody's ever seen. Don't forget, we had Venezuela. That was the beginning where people started to see the talent. I rebuilt the military and built it, frankly, including Space Force. But I rebuilt the military in my first term. I didn't think I'd be using it this much, but I'm glad I rebuilt it because we can't let these lunatics have nuclear weapons because they were going to use them. They'd use them fast. One of the ways you know that is when this whole thing started, they started shooting missiles all over the Middle East at countries that were basically not involved because they wanted to take over the Middle East. And if they had a nuclear weapon, they would have used it. The only question would have been the first hour or the first day. That's the only question. They would have used it. And if they can use a nuclear weapon, the world would have been in big trouble. We had to stop. It should have been done long ago. I also want to thank FCC Chairman Brendan Carr, perhaps the most powerful man in this room. You are doing some job. He's trying to keep the fake news. He's trying to make the fake news real and respected again, which is not an easy job, but you're doing a really amazing job. First time that's happened in 25 years, so I congratulate you and everybody in the room. Everybody in this whole country is watching what you're doing, and we appreciate it. When a man can get elected in a landslide, winning think of it, 7 swing states, win them all. We win the popular vote. We win the Electoral College by tremendous amount. We win the counties by 82 or 84%. And I got no good press. Think of it. Only one thing. That only means one thing. These people are not respected. They're just not respected. And we have to have a press that's respected. When you can win an election where they say that I got 94% bad press, think of it. The other side got 94% good press. When they can get 94% and you win in a landslide, that means the press is not respected. People have no confidence in. So you're doing a fantastic job. Senators Todd Young and Dan Sullivan, great senators, wherever you may be. You're here someplace. Where are you? Hello, fellas. Good senators. Great guys. And Representatives Ronnie Jackson, White House doctor. He served 3 presidents. He said he had Barack Hussein Obama. Have you heard of Barack Hussein Obama? You had Obama. I didn't want to talk about Biden, but he said, and you had Bush. You had young Bush, I call him, young. young Bush. I was not a fan, but that's all right. But the press asked him, who was the healthiest of the three? Doc Ronnie, stand up, Doc Ronnie. There's a big deal. Took a lot of heat for this. They said, no, most guys would say, well, we don't want to talk about that. They said, who's the healthiest of the three? He said, President Donald J. Trump by far. If he didn't eat junk food, he'd live to 200 years old, he said. And I love this guy, and he then left and he ran. He was an admiral, and he then left, and he was a White House doctor, a very respected one. He saved a lot of lives. He was a great doctor. People don't realize that. And he then left, and he said, sir, I'd like to run for Congress. I said, you've never done it before. You won't be able to pull it off. In a very, very all-Trump district, there were 28 people running. Man was retiring. He's been there for years. And I said, Ron, I don't know. It's going to be tough, but we'll try it, right? And we got him in. He blew him away. There was one man that was favored. He was a rhino. He was favored to win easily, and we wiped him out, right, Ron? And he's been a congressman. He's one of the most popular people in Congress. But I don't care about that. I just care that he was my doctor, and he said I'm the healthiest human being he's ever. Ronnie, am I healthier than these guys back here?
Yes, sir.
Oh, thank you. All right. See, this is why I like him. Also with Ronnie is Derek Van Orden, a fantastic guy, and members of the Naval Academy's Board of Visitors. Sean Spicer has gone on to great things, and Walt Nuda. Walt, where's Walt? Walt's become a very famous guy. He works with me, and he does a great job. Great, loyal, incredible person. And Sean Spicer, where's Sean? Where's Sean? Great job, and he's got a very successful television career going. What the hell do I get out of it? Well, you know what? I get nice statements. That's what I get out of it, right?
Yes, sir. 100%.
It's great. You've done great. Thank you very much. Congratulations. Those are really the people that are very much in charge of making everything work at the Academy. And the other academies, separately, separate groups, a very important position. For the Navy Midshipmen, 2025 was truly a season for the ages. You didn't just win the Commander-in-Chief's trophy, you made history as one of the greatest teams to ever wear the proud uniform of Navy football. Some uniform. The teams have gotten so good in the schools that I was able to get, and we're pushing it very hard to make it permanent, a military academy deferment policy. So, because you have some people here, you know, when I went on the field and I threw up a coin, I'm standing next to these guys. They were monsters. I said, look at the size of these guys. I thought they were supposed to be smaller. I thought you had sort of restrictions on size, you know? We got rid of that because some of these guys were extremely large. And we have the NFL teams here also. When whoever wins the Super Bowl, they come. The baseball teams, we had the Dodgers, we have them all. But I saw the size of these guys, so I got used to it. And I said, these guys are as big as the NFL. And at one of the visits a while ago, first term, they asked me, they said, sir, we have a hard time recruiting because a player, if he's really good, he can't do the 4 or 5 years in the military service. Could you would like to do a military academy deferment policy? I immediately knew what he meant. And we got it done. And it allows you to defer your service until after your career. So if you're going to the NFL for 10 years, so now everyone wants to join. So do I get credit for this successful team then? The superintendent's going to say yes. I don't know about the coach. I don't know about Kelly. But the coach, I think, it made your life a little bit easier. It was tough. It was tough for the teams when they used to have to play guys that were twice their size, right? So they did good. They had better heart. They have the best heart in the business, but size does matter. And so what we did is we got that so you have a deferment, so a lot of people are able to join now, and they do their service later. They're great patriots, but that would be a lot to ask. And I think it's helped your teams really compete at the highest level. The team was led by your incredible senior class, and that includes the co-captain and star quarterback, Blake Horvath, who is fantastic. Where are you, Blake? Wait a minute, you're a player. I was at that game. He's a player. Yeah, but good everything. You can run it, you can throw it. What do you think, NFL material? You have no choice. Thank you. Stay up here if you want. Look at this guy. He walks up. Most of them just stay there. Just, they don't want to. Very good. That's Look at him. I can't get rid of this. I can't stay there if you want. Come on, stay there. He's a quarterback. What the hell? But he ends his college career as one of the most accurate Navy quarterbacks of all time, with an astounding almost 60% completion rate, second only to the man we just spoke about, Roger Staubach, who was unbelievable. He was unbelievable. He served 5 years, and then he came in, and came in at like 27 or something, and he was phenomenal as an NFL player. Likewise, senior wide receiver Eli Haydenreich scorched opposing defenses all year long.